Live on Kick. Live on... Live on YouTube. And live on Twitch. Okie doke. Cool. Good to go. Alright. Thank you, Good Vibes. Or Vibes Radio. Okay. Happy... What day is it? Wednesday? Alright. Let's write a book. Wednesday. Okay, I am Gabriel Rathwig, author extraordinaire. Twitch is good, Kick is good, blah blah blah. Alright. Today we are writing, again, Mercenary, Reincarnated as a Chef, Book 3. Let's talk. What are we gonna say before we start? I'm a little out of it today. I didn't sleep great. Alright, so I'm writing a book called Mercenary Reincarnated as a Chef, Book 3. Today's stream and every stream is me trying to hit a word count goal, which is 2,500 words. Currently, we are at 90,536. If you add 2,500 to that, that is 93,036. So today's word count goal is a total of 93,036 words. That means I am 9,009. Well, sorry. After today, I will be 6,964 words from completion. I should turn this music down. There we go. I make all my books 100,000 words. It lets me have a percentage goal, which is great for me for tracking how I write and how productive I am. 100,000 words, 100%. Each percent is 1,000 words. Therefore, 2,500 words a day is 2.5%. 5% every 2 days, 10% every 4 days, 100% every 40 days. So hypothetically, if I work every day, put 2,500 words out, I can finish a book every 40 days. And then if you add in the editing, the rewrites and stuff, it's probably 50 to 60 days. So every 2 months, you could probably put a book out, ideally. If not, faster, depending on how the editing and such goes. So, yeah, 2,500 words, 500 words per half hour, 1,000 words an hour, 2.5 hours. What else? Let me, I do not talk in the chat or look over there really during my writing because it's distracting, because it's hard to think about it. So I will open the chats and look in them and stuff and answer questions, say hello to anybody who came in at the end of the stream. Same for Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. What else? What else? Every Friday, I'll give a recap of the series, Mercenary Reincarnated as a Chef. It's a series I'm writing for a publishing company called Athon Books. They are phenomenal. If you like science fiction, fantasy, LitRPG, romance, horror, suspense, everything, they're just an awesome publisher. This book will complete my contract with them, and then I'll have this series out in sometime this next few months. The author is me, but the narrator for the audio is going to be Ralph Lister. He's the guy who did Shogun. If you haven't seen his awesome series on FX, but the book's awesome too. The book is really awesome. It's from the 70s. Okay, so now I will give a recap of what happened yesterday, tell you where we are, and read a few paragraphs and get started. Again, I am an author, I'm a writer who is streaming, I'm not a streamer who is writing, so like, you know, I'm not a streamer. This is just me streaming. The purpose of this is to hold me accountable to hit my word count, which is 2,500 words, and also to market my books. If anybody likes to read science fiction, fantasy, LitRPG, time travel, anything like that, check my stuff out on Amazon. Whatever, you know. Everybody else is on TikTok or Instagram pimping themselves out, so I figure I'd pour myself out on the streaming services. It's like a double whammy, you know. I have to write anyway. So since I have to write anyway, why not put a fucking camera on me and act a fool, right? I mean, I've seen people buy the book now. It's pretty cool. I mean, more people have bought. People buy the book, my books. I'm #1 bestseller and top 250 on Amazon, you know. But it's just nice to see direct results from doing the streaming. So thank you everybody who's buying my books, anybody who's following the stream, and anybody who just to support. It's great. It really means a lot. When you're a self-published author, it's just a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. The other thing is, everybody always asks me how to write a book, how to be an author, and it's so trite and it's so repetitive, but the truth is, it's just like you just gotta write, you know. So here, if you watch these streams, you know, you can just see me in the process of writing. You know, it's just it's easier for somebody to see somebody do something than hear them tell you about it, you know. So I also give a tip every day when I start writing. I was recapping them all and I just forget them, so I'm just try to come up with new ones every day that I use, and then I'll repeat a lot of them. Sugar. It seems like you would think sugar would be a great thing for you to have. It would help you with your writing and all of that, but it actually is a creative stopper, and sugar fucks you up mentally and makes you stupid. All the neurobiologists and neuroscientists on the cutting edge of science agree sugar makes you stupid. So if you want to be more creative and you're trying to write, you have writer's block, or you just want to sit down and do it, sugar fucks you up. Don't do sugar. At least not while you're writing. Wait till after, give it to yourself as a reward, whatever you want to do, but like it fucks you up mentally, makes your brain not able to form neural pathways so you can't think. So there's a tip, sugar. I mean, trying to work, don't eat it. They say, oh, it gives you energy. No, it does, but not the kind of energy you need. If you're gonna go like running or jumping or just like lift weights or something, sugar's great because it's mindless energy. You want creative energy. Alright, there's my rant. Motherfuckers! Last time on Mercenary, Reincarnated as a chef. So, Lou and company had found out that the last place they needed to attack was the inner ring wall, which has the noble houses and the giant tower. They find out through Lady Cecilia that the manor houses, not through Lady Cecilia, through Lady Monica, that the houses, the manors are under attack, and they've been under siege for a while and they're about to fall. So they all decide to go ahead and attack now, even though the area of effect bonuses won't apply to them because the territory they've conquered hasn't been annexed yet and added to them, to their territory, and where they're attacking is outside of that territory. Even so, they're all attacking with their regular strength, except for the food bonuses they get. Lou is left behind by his own choice because he's the weakest of them and he's flying around waiting to go in, waiting for them to relieve the people under siege at Lord Vermillion's manor home. But he finds out that the other manor, the mayor's house, the mayor's residence is under attack from Lady Cecilia. So, despite being weak and cowardly or whatever it is, despite being scared to go because he's weaker than everybody, he decides, fuck it, even without the buffs, I'm gonna go. And he flies in crazily, you know, one-man army, killing monsters to save the people who are under siege by himself. Alright, so here we go. The magical coat somehow did away with the momentum that Lou had built up during his mad flight, and when he'd stopped, his body was rocked gently as if he were a baby being held by his mother. Lou shoved the pleasant imagery away and set his mind back to bloodthirstiness. His body dropping the last 10 feet in the air and going into a crouch as he hit the hard brick road by instinct. Lou turned his crouch into a roll as he simultaneously accessed grenades from his spatial storage and tossed them out while traversing the ground with his rapid rolling movement maneuver. Grenade after grenade flew out from him, seemingly at random, but each egg-like explosive unerringly flew into a different grouping of monsters. Unlike previous grenades, Lou hadn't exclusively made smoke concussion and flashbang versions. This time he made OG ones. The classic version that started it all. The good old green egg. Exploding boom after exploding boom, followed by screams of injured or dying monsters, filled the manor house grounds and its surroundings like a morbid metal rock concert. One where all the bands were talentless hacks who could only try to outscream the others. It was music to Lou's ears, and he hummed the version he heard inside his mind as he popped up from his roll and continued his mad dash through the gauntlet of enemies. Lou used his creation magic on the run and a 44 Magnum Raging Hunter in matte black appearing in his left hand, while his right continued to create and toss grenade after grenade in his wake. Continued to pull out from his spatial storage and toss grenade after grenade in his wake. Lou approached the manor house's rear entrance, which he was familiar with as it led to the kitchens. He had spent much of his time there while living with the mayor and his family. He had gotten to know the kitchen workers, cooks, and chef who ran the food service hall. Close with close friends with him. Those same people had welcomed him, a stranger, and his companions, who weren't even human, consisting of a griffin, a direwolf, and a bonobo beast boy. They were not what you would call expected house guests. These things hadn't mattered to the Ceruleans and their people, and their staff. Lou believed in turning the other cheek, including helping those who helped you tenfold. That was the main reason his anger spiked into heretofore unvisited realms that Lou had never even imagined his emotions taking him. The bodies of kitchen workers, his friends, were tossed about the kitchen in pieces, treated like nothing more than bloodied and broken humanoid dolls. What shall we say? How about what? How about what? How about what? Think. I think I'm looking for a quote. It's on. Let's see. I want to use like a. What's a good? Let me think. Oh, I know. Army of Darkness quotes. I love Army of Darkness. One of my favorite movies. Aha. Okay. Let's see. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. Nah, that's not gonna work. Good guy, bad guy. I'm the guy with the gun. I love these. Real bastards. Let's see. Okay. No, none of those are great. How about... I guess I'll just make some shit up. Let me think. These sons of bitches are gonna pay, Lou whispered under his breath, his skin flushing from tip to toe and his eyes squinting in anger and while tearing up in loss, both jockeying for position to see which would come out the winner. He wasn't. Lou ended the struggle with a quick wipe of his eyes and blowing of snot rockets from his nose. Took 3 deep breaths. Breathes breaths. And the anger and both the anger and loss were gone, replaced with cold fury and steel resolve that showed zero signs of mercy. Do, do, do. Let's think. Mentally reset, Lou quickly used resources from the kitchen, from the destroyed kitchen, and rearmed himself, rearmed and re-ammoed. Refilled his ammo. It was much easier to pull from his spatial storage as it didn't consume it consumed hardly any mana, while the use of his creation mana, however, used great gouts of his mana. So it made more sense to prepare ahead of time. Also, by doing it this way, Lou was able to pull weapons from his spatial storage with one hand and create others with them or other items with his free hand. After a couple of minutes, he was ready and his mana was recharged. His mana was recharged. He wanted to wait a few minutes for his mana to recharge, but he could tell by what he saw from his incoming aerial study and the continuous screams of men and monsters, there was no time to spare. Think, let's get to 9-1. With one last deep breath, Lou rushed forward into the kitchen and rushed forward from the kitchen into the main dining room, a pair of grenades leading the way. Lou tossed two grenades. Lou cracked open the door to the main dining room, tossed in a pair of grenades, let the door shut, and covered his ears. 2 seconds later, the dual explosions announced his cue, and he rushed forward to 44, to what do they call? Raging Hunters in hand. Was in hand, cocked, locked, and ready to rock. The smoke obscured the large room, but Lou wasn't affected by it, by the flimsy vision barrier, and fired at every shadowy mass that appeared before him, appeared as he rushed through the room. The screams and cries of dying orcs, goblins, kobolds, and all sorts of other monsters. Lou wasn't sure which was which when he blew six-inch sized holes in their bodies, limbs or other appendages, Nor did he care. His only goals were maximum carnage and death, and his only goal was to inflict as much carnage and death during his rescue attempt as he could. While saving his friends and by saving his friends. Oh. I'm also not in a huge rush today because I did the podcast yesterday, so I don't have to like get anything done in a real big hurry. So even if I don't hit my 2,500 words in 2.5 hours, it's all right. I might do a little more. I might do a little more. We'll see. I'm now at 91 at 2,000 more, and we'll see how fucking big I'm talking in in another 1,000 words. I might be like, I'm finished for the day. He cleared the dining room in record time, and without stopping to admire his handiwork, moved right out into the foyer or main entrance to the manor house. Lou had contemplated tossing grenades ahead of him, but he could hear voices that he recognized and didn't want to cause friendly fire. So instead, he kicked open the double doors, launching the two orc guards standing on the other side. Across the room, a dozen feet across the room, where they slid in a jumble to the center, up to the bottom of the center stairwell. The surprise maneuver, the surprise door kick, had the intended, did what Lou wanted, dragged all eyes to the fumbling orcs on the floor as he stepped through the doorway, guns blasting. Means 9,000 to go. Not today, I mean till the end of the book. I want to be done Friday. That means I have to do 3,000 today, 3,000 tomorrow. Yeah, I do 3,500 tomorrow and 3,500 the next day. I need to stretch. I stand when I write, so I could sit, but I don't want to be a fat fuck. I don't want to be a fat lazy fuck. I'm just kidding. It just feels better to, for me, to stand, because people don't realize it, man. Sitting's good, but the way we sit is crazy bad, you know? Like, because we don't sit like in a upright posture position with our feet back and blah 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 blah, you know? We sit kind of like an asshole. Pulling up Twitch real quick just to say hi. Thank you for watching. Dream Bloody, thank you for following. And yeah, cool. Let me go switch over to Kick.
Spent 0 people would have pepper sprayed.
I wish I could change that setting so it just didn't count. But anyway, thanks for watching on Kick, guys. Thank you. And yeah, I think we can go back to the work now. I don't think anybody's watching on YouTube. So there's that. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, one more page. Next page. And we'll be on chapter 29. Let's see. The first monsters to drop were a 10-foot tall ogre in filthy robes and covered in all sorts of nastiness that Lou couldn't define. But seemed to indicate that the ogre was his attire indicated he was a magic user, but Lou didn't care, as his watermelon-sized head exploded like it was part of a Gallagher routine. Aw, snap. Some of y'all kids don't even know what that means. The monster next to it also had a head explosion, but it being a much smaller tentacle faced monster, Lou immediately recognized as an illithid. Pretty sure that's how you spell it. Yep. From his tabletop gaming days, and was made sure to hit the monster again with a double tap. Double tapo. Those things were particularly nasty as they could control your mind with PSIO, psionic powers. He made a special mental note to take them out as a priority target. All these thoughts were processed as Lou danced and shuffled his way through the main lobby like a ballroom dancer in their element. Oof. He was no dancer, and he bobbed, crouched, and weaved in non-stop motion. His hands and the huge revolvers in his hands, leading the dance as they flowed every which way, firing a blast, deafening blast, every in perfect harmony, accentuating Lou's motions. He dodged he dodged arrows and bolts, magic spells, and charging monsters by a hair's breadth, over and over again. With every pull of his trigger, another enemy cranium exploded, and their bodies fell in unmoving heaps behind him. If he noticed any of them, you wouldn't have known it. The way Lou kept moving and twirling, spinning, and firing his hand cannon seemingly in random directions. In broken and unmoving heaps behind him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, sir. So the next page. That's right. 91, 262. Okay, we have to get to 91, 5. And then we'll be at 1,000. This cat behind me was my birthday gift from my mother-in-law. She thinks it's funny because I'm Asian. It is funny because I'm Asian. In seconds, he crossed the foyer and made it to the bottom of the grand staircase. He didn't even pause, just moved up, taking the steps 2 or 3 at a time, moving from left to right. His feet a blur of tap dancing like motion, but also in a martial way that was hard to comprehend. How could someone move so beautifully while creating such death and destruction? Lou had wondered that the first time he'd learned about something called gun kata. Aw, snap, we going hardcore. Gun kata. A blur of the two styles being so different. He'd only been so dope. Equilibrium. A preteen, just not even in the field, not even the idea of becoming a mercenary or assassin, not even a thought in his prepubescent mind in his previous life. Then he'd seen the movie Equilibrium, and being a ignorant and impressionable young youth, he'd thought the fighting style was a real thing. You mean you can combine kung fu and guns? Gun fu? Fu? Gun kata? Gun kata was what the movie called it, but and though it was Lou's first introduction to the idea, the Far East had been invented the concept and had been developing it to extremes. To further more sophisticated and effective forms. These all resulted in the final culmination and gun katas modern form as shown in the much later John Wick movies. As a child, Lou had thought the martial art was a real thing, not just something created by the film industry. This being the case, he trained from a young age in what he thought was a martial art, and as things do when one believes something enough, truly believes, reality starts to shape itself in that direction. What reality? The reality that where Lou was able to perform actual and use the martial art of gun kata in his professional career. 315. Woohoo! 500 more to get to 2. Oh, stretch. Oof. When he first started using the techniques he'd mastered over decades of self-taught training, there were no others in his industry that used anything like gun kata. Then, after about a year of him using the martial art on missions, he started seeing other mercenaries and assassins using similar versions. Lou had been angry and at first and thought that maybe someone annoyed at first. Gun kata was his thing, his calling card. But then it hit him, much like when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. The seal was broken, and dozens of people did it right after he did. Lou figured him using gun kata was a similar concept. Do 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 do. 8,300 and something words. Pretty good. Also, if I don't finish by Friday, fuck it, it's okay. I can finish on Saturday. I don't drink. I don't do anything. It's not like I fucking have anything to celebrate about. Another book done. It's the biggest thing I miss about alcohol is like the celebratory part of it with people. Whatevs. That was then. This was now, and Lou, and he hadn't introduced the martial art here or seen anyone on Soul who used it or any other similar techniques. He hadn't even seen any firearms. That any firearms at all. One thing Lou was, wasn't, never did, was waste a power imbalance. If no one else had the extremely deadly weapons he did, he would take advantage of that. Lou had to. He was physically and magically weaker than basically everyone else around him. Even the noble ladies Cecilia and Monica were technically stronger than he was. Both magic and physical strength. He had something that made up for his lack of traditional power, and that was tactical years of experience. Training and a unique skill set that was tailored to the specific task of ending another being's life. Lou used all of those skills now, without hesitation and with extreme prejudice. His body been at a 65-degree angle as he performed a reverse Michael Jackson and fired 2 headshots at a incoming Drider giant screaming Drider heading his way with 2 huge scimitars in hand. The monster's head exploded like the others, and Lou dodged around it and kept moving down the huge hallway. Past the top of the grand stairwell and down the huge hallway. Ah, shit. Almost at 92. And it's just 1,500 to go. 1,000 to go. Tired. That was just under standing room only. Don't mind me, ladies and gentle, whatever the hell you all are. Lou shouted cheerily as he sauntered up to the mass of 7-foot tall reptilian humanoids. I just came to kick some ass and chew some bubblegum. The giant reptilians looked around at one another, confused at the tiny human words and that he was dancing his way toward them seemingly without fear. A reptilian larger than the rest, with a giant serrated two-handed bastard sword, casually resting on his shoulder, began to laugh loudly, though the sound came out as the booming hiss of snakes. It had the desired intent. It quieted the other reptiles What is this little human meat saying? What is bubble gum? The huge reptile leader hissed in mocking laughter. as his head exploded. It's a chewy candy that is good for your teeth, Lou explained, firing non-stop into the crowd of to the mighty glorb of the Draconians. First champion of the Draconian tribe. What is bubble? Boom. What he now knew were called Draconians. Next page. It's a fight break. 1 to 3. The battle had been tense. The Draconians had gotten their shit quickly together after Lou blew off the head of their leader. 92,022. Here we go. It's going well. We have less than 1,000 words to go. We are at 1 hour and 12 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. Well, good if there is no sugar. I mean, Lou explained as he continued firing non-stop, and his never-ending dance of death. Do, 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 do. 1,000 words to go. 1,002 words to go. Every subsequent the reptilians tried to get organized against him and use their superior numbers, but every time Lou saw one of them calling out orders, he blasted his head into oblivion. It took 10 hard and painful minutes with too many brushes with death for Lou to count to drop the last Draconian. He was covered in cuts, bruises, and burns, and other magically given wounds, but he was still standing, and the Draconians were not. He took a moment to administer some self-care and first aid, using the brief respite to check his backlog of messages and his personal information screen. All right, 9135. Okay. We're at 1 hour and 17 minutes. Less than 8,000 words to go. Lou went through the messages quickly, as they were all updates of what happened at Vermilion Manor, and or that his friends and companions were coming to help him, to help as fast as they could. The problem was that that none of them would reach the manor, would reach him for another 20 minutes at the earliest. And by then, the Count and whoever else was alive would dead. Lou was sure of it. He was gambling even now by taking a minute to rest and to catch his breath and bandage his wounds. Think. I'll put one here. Messages here. Okay. That was something, at least. Lou thought as he closed his HUD and moved out. Making his way toward the center of the residence, and where he knew the Count and his guard would make their last stand. Guard Captain Freya had shown him the location, and during during their training, during their stay at the residence, Lou had helped with training the guards and vice versa. Experienced warriors always had tips and tricks to share. It was how they became experienced warriors. The center of the manor was also the most fortified place. Fortified area, as it had a underground bunker and a wall around it. So if enemies breached the manor walls, then the house, they could retreat to a final location. The enemy it had been placed there, comma, so if enemies breach the manor walls, then the house because the enemy would not only have to take over Helter Skelter, then all the ring walls, the walls of the manor house, the manor, and finally the manor house itself to reach it. Guard Captain Freya had laughed at the question, when Lou had asked it. He grimaced as he blasted another orc in the forehead. She was probably not laughing now. $92,387. the bank. Where we at? An hour and 25. If she was still alive. With that morbid thought cycling through his mind, Lou continued onward, firing non-stop and switching out his revolvers as the barrels superheated from the continuous firing. Another 10 harrowing minutes, one where Blue almost lost his left arm, starting from the shoulder by a surprise attack from a giant, from a mutated, from a Venus, what looked like Venus fly trap looking monster the size of a colt. He'd stupidly thought it was just a large house plant as he looked and dismissed it as a threat, then walked by. The plant had other plans and moved as fast as a striking snake, latching onto Blue's arm and shoulder. Hour and a half. Only the fact that Blue had experience with man-eating plants in his previous career saved him. Most people didn't know that deep in the jungles of Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia resides a family of meat-eating plants while they are nowhere near the size of a horse, they do grow as large as dogs and eat mammals up to twice their size. There was one mission that Lou went on where his team's scout dogs were eaten. That was one of the few missions where he got satisfaction from visceral satisfaction for killing something. Lou loved animals, dogs and cats especially. $92, $586. The plants emitted a neurotoxin so strong it worked instantly, causing its prey to go into a paralysis as the plant's leaves slowly surrounded and ate the animal by dissolving it over a period of months while it still lived. A real painful and shitty way to die in Lou's estimation. $92, $638. He'd learned that to kill those plants, fire was the best, and the local guides had said painful way to kill them. Lou had obliged the carnivorous what's the word? Plants, carnivorous. Oh, there's a word for plants. Flora. With bells on. He did the same now, creating a a small flame thrower, much like the one Elon Musk gave away during the early days of Tesla, and proceeded to light the monster plant on fire. The little shop of horror reject shrieked, but inside lose mind somehow. But he didn't let off the trigger and kept the flames at high heat. The monster's shrieks disappeared from his brain seconds later. The resulting migraine felt like someone had shoved 6 or ice picks into the from all different directions. His shriek was not inside his mind, and it was very vocal, and he let it out for the rest of the world to hear. An eternity of pain and agony Lou swam in a eternity of pain and agony. His brain, his mind, his thoughts all were only on one thing: hurt. Extreme pain. Nothing had ever felt that way. Lou had been hurt in mind-destroying pain. Different and ways that he was a sort of expert on pain. He'd been burnt, shot, cut, stabbed, electrocuted, poisoned, blinded, albeit temporarily, concussed, bitten, and that's just his first 10 years, and that was just his first 10 years in the in his profession. The pain he was experiencing now was as if all of the hurt and all of the agony he'd ever experienced in his entire life was summoned into one burning point of pain. That was what he felt. And as that thought hit him, he realized he was able to think past the pain. It wasn't all consuming. In fact, it wasn't actually pain at all. His eyes snapped open, and as his hands rose in front of him, 4 Illithids stood 10 feet away with their arms pointed at him and their phallic-like tentacles flailing as what they spoke in blubbering gibberish. That's enough of that, Lou roared, accentuating his points with pulls of his triggers. Well, laddies and ladies, we have 100 words or less. 100 words less. We're at an hour 44. That means I did 2,500 words an hour and 45 minutes, man. Let's fucking go. Who's that? It's me. Rubbery, purplish heads. He did the same pattern. Their internal organic head matter decorating Lord Cerulean's manner in a twisted version of modern art. Lou wanted to sit down and just breathe, but he could hear the shouts of the guards. Guard Captain Freya and the rest of the guardsmen, along with Lord the Count and Countess, giving their support. If he stopped now and they died, he'd never forgive himself. He wiped the blood, he wiped the sweat from his brow and then stared at his hand. It was all blood, and he was sure it was his. He could feel his body starting to give out. 93,050. Even with his new magical younger body, its enhanced physical abilities, and his newfound magical talents, Lou knew his limits. Hell, he'd even died once, so he knew what that was like. Alright, we are at 93,076 words. I think I'm gonna take a mild break. Maybe we'll do a few more. I don't know what. Let's take a look at the tings. See if anybody has any questiones. Oof. Twitch questions? Twitch? Doesn't look like it. Kick. Hey, Wilbraham. What's up? Thanks for joining, man. Okay, I think I'm gonna take a timeout unless there's any questions for me. I'm gonna take a 5-minute and come back. Let's see what's going on here. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Boom. Stream health, nobody. Alright, well, hey man. I hear it, I see it. It's tough to watch something that's all jaggy and jagged and lacking and da 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 da, but yeah. So a 12:51. We're at 149. Put some music up. Let's see something. I mean, I could stop, but I might write a couple. Whoa, shit. I'm gonna have to. Oh, God. That is a lot of fucking editing. All right. Well, we're now at 93,056. So let's take a break. Be back in. Wait. Be back. 12:57, 1 o'clock-ish, 5 minutes. Oof. Well, I... back. What's up? Back. 90, 30. Let's just do a few more. I'm pretty much done. Experience was like... But that meant Lou also knew how much further he could drive his tortured physique. No longer were his legs and feet prancing like showgirls in Vegas. No longer were his arms swinging like an air traffic controller on the world's best cocaine. No longer was he moving his core up and down, left and right, and in ways that seemingly defied the laws of physics. Now, Lou dragged his left leg behind him with every small hopping step of his right leg. He used his left arm to pull his responseless limb forward and repeat the process, while his right hand held the Ranger, what is it, Ripper Hunter, what was it called? But used it to prop himself up with the wall so he didn't collapse as he shuffled onward. Well, 93, 178. 93, 176. 77. I think it's enough for me today. Responsiveness. Unresponsive. Dirt. Alright. That's it for me today. 1 o'clock. That is 2 hours, 3 minutes. 2,650 words in 1 hour minus 7, 6, 13. 1 hour and 50 minutes. I think that's pretty solid. Thank you for watching on YouTubes. I'm closing the YouTubes. Thank you for watching on Twitch. Dreamy, Bloody, thank you for following. Everybody, thank you for following on Twitch. I'm closing the Twitch. Kick, thank you so much for following. Like as I said, Wilbraham, thank you. Douche Canoes, thank you. Next time, if anybody has is writing and they want to write along, go ahead, feel free to write along. And if you have a technical writing question at the end, feel free to ask. Otherwise, have a great day. Closing the stream on Kick. Stop stream, stop recording. Deuces. Wait, let's do this. Deuces. Oh, gay. I'm super gay.